Jesus Christ, you people suck. Wow. Wolverine wanted to be in it.
Back in the days when we played video games, it was hardcore for the nerdy and lazy. Now things have changed and all our video games are also for the casual and lady.
But that's okay, you know the score. We told you a million times before. Playing consoles, not just games, is in the past. And every week you listen to the best damn internet radio crew. It's the N4G podcast. It's the N4G podcast.
Alright, it's time! Another week. N4G Radio. This is episode 668 for September 20th, 2021. And, you know, before the show, I was looking at the releases, and holy shit, it is the beginning of the silly
The
season.
beginning, please. We've had the pre-game and now we've had the pre-drinks, now we're in the club.
Yeah, like, there are I think I counted 4 or 5 big releases this week. But on the show this week, we have Anthony.
Hello.
And we will have Wombat joining us shortly. Drew is out, which I don't know if you saw the Twitter exchange, but he got yelled at on Twitter. It wasn't you this week, it was him.
What was it for?
Because he spoiled 12 minutes.
Oh, on the podcast last
Yeah.
week.
He got called a jackass and is now this person's ex-favorite podcast member. So,
I mean, yeah, at the same time, I don't think that... count the blessings. Count the blessing. I get it. But count your blessings. Someone that tried. It's just... There's better games, please. God, there's better games.
There's a lot of better games.
Of time loops.
Yeah,
I'm
there
not
was
even
one
talking,
just
in
released.
general. Yeah, well, and this year's had what? The Forgotten City.
Forgotten
That's another
City,
time
I've heard,
loop.
is incredible, yes.
Yes, I need to play it. I have it. I just haven't played it.
Yeah, and then you can play Deathloop if you have a beefy PC or a PS5, though. So that one's a little more limited than some of these other ones. All right.
Yeah, I'm very disappointed that I can't play Deathloop, but it's just the reality of life right now. Which, I guess I'll talk about it in a second. I'll let you go through your thing.
Oh, I was just going to say, it's time to talk about video games.
Okay, great. Speaking about video games, I walked into an EV Games, which is weird because I thought we were rebranding to GameStop EV Games Canada / GameStop Canada. I walked into an EV Games. What the fuck was the point of you changing? Anyways, I walk in. I want to buy a copy of Biomutant. $40 used. I'm like, that's probably the right price for me to pick it up. It's cheaper physically used than it is digitally on sale right now.
Sure.
So I was like, that doesn't make any fucking sense to me, but okay. Walk in there, and I'm like, hey, do you have any copies of Biomutant? And he goes, that's an old title. No, we don't.
Old?
That was I almost went, what do you mean old? It came out this year. It came out like 2 months ago. What the fuck do you mean old? Like... I was like, hey, I almost had May 25th. Man, it's not that old.
Yeah, that's only 4 months old.
Oh, anyways, he's like, yeah, it's an old game. I can check other stores for you in the area. I'm like, okay. Yeah, none of those have it either. I'm like, do they have it used? And he's like, types in his computer, he's like, I have it used. What the fuck do you...
There's some quality customer service right there.
What the shit are you doing? Like, how about this, GameStop? Can you suggest, like, to your employees that, like, they searched used copies first, and then if the person goes, do you have any new copies? Then they search for that? Because you make more money on the used copies? I wonder why they're fucking doing bad in business. Like, what if I didn't ask if they had used copies? I didn't say, do you have new copies of Biomutant? I just said, do you have Biomutant? And then the other thing, and the only reason why it came to mind is because, like, you mentioned Deathloop and having a PS5 or a beefy PC. They have, like, no PS4 games on the wall. They have used PS4 games in a bin at the front, which you pass by because it's, like, behind the pillar as you walk in, because they have, like, a glass sort of wall. So it's, like, a mostly empty wall of, like, a few PS4 games, and I mean, the PS5 selection isn't huge, and they don't carry everything that the PS5 has either. So it's like this really weird selection of nothing. Then more Xbox One stuff, which like has not been the case for a long time. And then they have Switch stuff, and then the rest of the place is just filled with like Funko Pops and other crap. And it's like, I understand that like PS4 is old, but no one has a PS5 right now in the grand scheme of things. So, like, are we really getting rid of this right away? Like, they held on to Game Boy Advance titles far into the, like, a while into the PS4 life cycle. Because that's when I bought a bunch of cheap Game Boy Advance games. And now they're like, PS4, it's old news, as the PS5 is barely out.
Well,
But anyways,
yeah,
so I'd love
PS5
to
out
say
for
I
9
played.
months.
Yeah, I'd love to say that I played Biomutant, but I didn't. But I did play another game on the PS4, which is Fist.
Oh yeah, Fist.
That's a good game.
It is a good game. I'd be very interested to know your thoughts when you get deeper into it, because one of the biggest issues I had with that game, I loved it at first. Like the first area, the first boss, the first like opening sections of that game are incredible. And then as that game continues to go on, they throw new types of enemies at you that your combat is just not equipped to handle multiple different types of enemies. Like it becomes more frustrating than it's worth.
So already I'm starting to see that issue.
Mm-hmm.
And part of it is because, and it's not, they've built in this combo system, but you knock down most enemies in 2 hits. And I don't mean kill, I mean knock down.
Yes.
Which puts them prone on the ground, which makes them immune to most of your combo.
And usually when they get up, they roll behind you. So if you try to
Yes.
like preload a combo, you just whiff.
I figured out that like here's the way you do it. If you've got a shield, you have to break it with the hold square button to punch.
Yep.
But for the most part, it's like that uppercut move really fucking does a lot of damage and stuns everybody. And then otherwise, just keep throwing them at each other.
Yeah, that's works for a little while until you get to the enemies. The thing that drives me the most crazy about that game, and you won't notice it when you're early on, is that the enemies will knock you out of your combos. Like they can interrupt you.
I know. Yep.
But when you get later in the game and there's a shield,
Happens
there's a
more
guy
often.
interrupting you, there's a guy shooting a bullet at you, and then there's I don't know if you've seen them yet, but there's these guys with the swords later on that they will block your attacks almost regularly.
They're the same as the axe guys, right?
No, these guys actually will charge up and do different. Like you'll see them early on, but you'll see more like asshole versions of them later.
Oh, great. Yeah, I mean it's pretty good. I'm not gonna tell you it's my favorite, Metroidvania or whatever you want to call them. Like it's not. It reminds me like somebody like it's weird because it's like it's a Chinese company and like console games. I'm not saying they had no access to them, but console games weren't super popular because consoles were outlawed or banned or whatever, right?
Yep.
And yet this takes a lot of Shadow Complex and a game called Valdis Story, which is a brawler Metroidvania for PC, kind of mashes those together. And I'm like, it's very odd because I'm like, I don't know where this thought process came from for a studio that's brand new, let alone one from China where that stuff wouldn't have been accessible readily,
Yeah, absolutely.
But I like the character design.
Yeah. So
I guess.
tell me the question I asked you when we first got the game. Doesn't he sound like, doesn't Rayton sound like he's channeling his inner David Hayter?
No, I hear I want to say it's Roger Craig Smith, the voice of Sonic,
Oh
doing a
man,
deeper voice.
he talks like Solid Snake. He's like, I
He
don't
does.
know.
He does, but I feel like I don't see because a lot of Solid Snake is cadence, right? And that's not something that he's doing. He's just doing the gruff voice, and like clearly the guy doing the again, I think it's Roger Craig Smith, just because I've heard him do other voices before. But I want to say like it's just that person has a slightly higher voice naturally
Hmm.
than like David Hayter, who's got a little bit more of a gruff voice. So
Sure.
putting that on isn't as very hard.
I don't know what
So
it was like, the conversation they had at the beginning when they were eating noodles. He just
it also doesn't
reminded
help that
me.
he's talking about war.
Yeah, he's like, war is a
So
good
yeah, so it's like very Metal Gear esque
Metal
in terms of
Gear.
the. But that's just it, right? Like that's what I'm saying. Like the way he says Metal Gear and like asks a lot of questions, like that's part of that where it's like you can do a bad David Hayter voice, but you can do the the cadence of Solid Snake, right? And
Oh.
people know what you're doing. Again, it's fine. I played some more Earth Defense Force World Brothers. I've been behind on that review, so I'm just like, fuck it, let's just plow through. And yeah, I mean, it's still Earth Defense Force. Um, it's on the higher end of Earth Defense Force. I still think Iron Rain is a more interesting game. Um, but I mean, like, nothing's gonna top the first Earth Defense Force. The more complex it gets, doesn't help.
No,
And
it's a stupid game, so
yeah, and like the first, I have issues with the direction that that series has gone since the original series or the original game, 2017, because like 2017, it works because it feels like you're playing through a 60s science fiction film, right? Like they came from space could be on the fucking screen, and you'd be like, yeah, that sounds about right. And the robots had that design and everything. So, and as it's gone on, it's been a little bit more anime. At least with this game, it's like everything's voxel, and they kind of admit that it's a big cartoon. So it works. It's just I miss the tone of the original game where it's funny because it's campy, but it's not trying to be. Um, more WarioWare. That game still
ah,
has me playing because there's a bunch of missions, and the missions unlock coins, and then you can use the coins to like buy items that power up characters. Like you level them up by giving them items, and each item, like every character will respond differently to certain items. So you kind of want to figure out where the best place to like the best characters to give certain items to, so you get more points out of that item, so you level the characters up faster because leveling them up gives them a bigger base stat for the WarioWare Cups, which is a weekly thing. So I've been doing that. I got my first gold trophy finally because I leveled the characters up enough. But they get difficult because you really have to. You end up making it to like the fastest speeds where games are like blink and you'll miss them speed. So they actually have to speed up your characters because of how fast the mini games are done. And then the last game that I want to talk about, the last game I played because I haven't played much this week, is Eastward.
oh yeah,
That
I saw this. I have not played this.
So speaking of China, this is a Chinese studio, Pixpil. I was following them on Twitter quite some time ago, probably on my last account, um, when they were just showing off their pixel art, and like it was really good pixel art. And I'll just say it now. Yeah, the game looks like it was inspired by Earthbound art style at times, but it plays like Zelda. Um, there's a lot of dialogue, so that might turn some people off. Like it's a lot of story, very handholdy. But I'm not super far into the game. I haven't finished it. I've defeated the first boss which is a really good boss fight. It plays like there's some Zelda trope bosses, shoot the weak eye, throw the bomb in, that type of shit. And it falls into one of those sort of Zelda trope boss battles. And it still was really good and a good twist on it. The plot is that you are a miner, and you're one of the best miners in this little village that lives underground. And nobody's been to the surface. In fact, you're not allowed to go to the surface. And one day the miner finds this girl in like a stasis pod sort of thing. And he frees her, and he's been taking care of her like it's his daughter. And she's the white-haired girl that you see in all the sort of artwork.
Mm-hmm.
And it had this really well-done animated intro that kind of tells you this backstory before the game starts. So there's no dialogue in that section either. You kind of have to pull the meaning out of it, but it's pretty clear what happened. But there's a lot of dialogue in game, not spoken, just written. So don't turn on subtitle mode. I did that wondering like, oh, there's spoken dialogue, I should turn on subtitle mode. No, it just writes it out in clear like text rather than pixelated text, which is a good accessibility option, I suppose. Not something I'd think of, but I didn't have any problem reading the pixelated text. You go into these dungeon-like areas, and your weapon is a frying pan.
Sure, that's so a little
Sure.
PO'd in there.
Because you play as her dad at first, the John, I believe is his name, and then you play as her later on, and she has a different set of skills. But
I have a particular set of skills.
I knew that was coming. I've made it not to the surface, but up above, and like it's gonna sound like I'm spoiling something, but I'm not. Clearly, you are living in the remnants of ruins as your character wakes up, and he is living in a van that is underground.
Down by the river?
And like all the pieces of town are like you go through a subway tunnel. Like you are under something. And so I've been up to the something you're under. And I like it's not like the best Zelda-like. I will say that right now. Like, it's a 2D Zelda-like game, but it's not the best one of those. But the setting it's in is probably my favorite so far. And it's probably one of the prettiest. Like, the artwork and the animation is fantastic. But the gameplay is kind of simple. I have one item, and then I have the frying pan to attack with, and that's kind of it. So the puzzles aren't really difficult. But there's clearly other stuff I'll get at some point. And there's a cooking option in this game, and the cooking is straight out of Breath of the Wild. It's a 2D game, but it pulls up a menu. It doesn't look like it, but as soon as it started cooking, it even started making the sounds that when you make a meal in Breath of the Wild and you know it's going well, it makes that sort of sound. And then the meal I made gives me extra hearts that are yellow. So, yeah, it's really neat, and I'm excited to see where the story goes. That's all I want to say about it, because I feel like it's not been out long enough because I think it came out on Thursday. It's not been out long enough.
So this is Eastward, and it's only on Switch?
I believe it's on PC. Let me just double check, because I'm playing it on Switch. Yeah, it's on Steam. Yeah, so it's just Switch and PC right now.
Okay. Does it say a lot about video games right now that I was waiting for you to drop the bomb and tell me about the Rogue or Dark Souls-like elements of this game?
I suppose. I
was waiting on you to ruin the game for me.
I knew what this game was before it came out. Enough because I'd been interested. But yeah, like I'm just kind of even looking at the Steam page right now just to make sure I haven't kind of missed anything. It says contains adult humor and mature themes. Yeah, no more than like Earthbound does. Not to use that as an example again, but it's just like it's kind of that tone, especially if anybody's familiar with Mother 3. It feels a lot like Mother 3 in terms of tone. It's kind of dark. Everybody's kind of poor and living off the land as best as they can. Um, there seems to be potentially like a full old school JRPG within the game as well, because I played a bit of that. It makes you. Um, and the music is astounding. I think it might be my favorite soundtrack this year.
I still can't believe
Um,
they've made 2 sequels to Danzig's Mother. That blows my mind.
Mother!
Hello, Wombat.
Hi.
I have yet to welcome you, and I feel
Yeah,
terrible.
well, I couldn't resist the opportunity to go, Mother!
I mean, how can you not do that every time somebody says? Isn't Aussie kind of like a piece of shit?
I don't know. Probably.
Danzig?
Yeah, like Glenn Danzig, wasn't there something that came out recently about him being kind of a piece of shit? I don't know.
He's pretty sure he's just an asshole.
Well, I already knew that, but that's,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, I
I don't
don't
know.
see anything on Wikipedia because, of course, I pulled it up. But
Tell your children not to walk my word.
he did a terrible Elvis cover album, so there's
Oh.
that.
Oh, God. Oh, choked to death on that
I
one.
can just imagine Danzig in an Elvis suit, but like it's an Elvis suit that's the same size Elvis would wear, so he's just like swimming in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
You
the
ain't mother,
soundtrack.
mother, hell no.
God damn it. Fucking. The soundtrack is Hyperduck and Joel Korolitz, who apparently did the soundtrack for parts of the soundtrack for Death Stranding.
Mm.
Anyways, it's. I was surprised because most of the time I'm just like, yeah, this is just background sound. Really, like I could do without it, music most of the time, just because it's like, symphonic stuff or whatever. It just doesn't do anything for me. This is like this weird mix of electronic music that I'm not sure I can say is chiptune, but I can't say it's not either. I don't know what it is. Yeah, but really interesting game so far. And that's it for me.
All right. Well, you joined at a good time. Now it's your turn, Wombat, because there's nobody else here.
Awesome. No, the literally the only thing that I've played is Yakuza 0. As I'm trying to get that game to completion before I start anything else. Because I've already those of you who have listened to the show for a while know that I generally tend to only play one game at a time. I'm not really the type generally to bounce around game to game and just, play 3 hours of this and then 3 hours of this and 3 hours of this. But I have done that somewhat recently because there were games that I wanted to just kind of check out, like Hades. And so I've decided, though, that I got to quit doing that and just get back into Yakuza 0 and finish it before I start anything else. So that's what I've been working on.
So 2 years from now,
yeah, exactly.
when you're done.
I'm 20 hours in at this point.
You're
So,
still in the tutorial.
yes. So I think, based on what I've seen, I'm about halfway through.
Have you started the real estate stuff yet?
Yes. Yep.
Okay. You gotta hire the chicken. Okay.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Yeah, but no, that game is really good. I'm really enjoying it. So, yeah, and I get the sense that I'm ramping up into an accelerated part of the story. So, I'm excited to keep playing. I definitely like Kiryu better as a protagonist. But we'll see how it goes before the end of the game.
Yeah. That was a quality ass video game.
Yep. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. And as an entry for me, at an entry point, I should say, for me into the series, I'm really digging it. It really makes me want to play the next one. So, yeah, that's what I'm playing. And other than that, I genuinely haven't played anything else.
Yeah, it happens.
Well, especially for me, especially lately.
Yeah, that's a pretty normal thing for you.
Yeah.
One game at a time.
One game at a time, because I don't have time for anything else.
All right, well, I'll pivot to me where I play 40 games at a time.
Right.
So I did play excuse me, quite a few things this week, but the first thing I want to talk about is that we welcomed a new member into the video game family this week in this household. We bought an Xbox Series S for the living room, and this is the first time I've seen one and like held one. That is a bulky, tiny little box, I have to say. And I am super impressed with how good it looks and runs. Like, I can understand what that machine is for now. It is for people who are not going to notice, that difference between 1080p and 4K, because it runs everything kind of like a dream, even at the lower resolution. So I have to say I'm very impressed with that little monster. I got it for the living room mostly because my son had been wanting to play some of the newer Xbox stuff, and my wife wanted to revisit the Resident Evil games. And of course, like the remakes, and especially like the newer ones are going to be so much better on that machine. But she'd asked me which one to go back to first, which one would be the hardest to play, like today. So I told her she should probably start with 4, and she made it about 45 minutes before she uninstalled that one. Like, that game, compared to the other Resident Evils, is very hard to go back to if you don't remember how those controls work. Like, they are very rough. But she moved on to Code Veronica now, which I think is the second hardest one to go back to, and that one is moving smoothly. So she said she'll wait on a remake of 4. So I thought that was funny. As far as what I have played personally, I'm going to run through these indie games first because I got a couple of big games I want to talk about. I did play some Omen of Sorrow, which I had played before on the PlayStation. That is a 1v1 fighting game with basically like horror characters. So like Mr. Hyde is in it, like King Arthur is in it, like there's a vampire lady. Like I think they're all based on...
yes. Horror. Like King Arthur.
Well, it's dead King Arthur. It's like his ghost.
Okay.
But like there's a bat lady. There's like Quasimodo's in it. Like Van Helsing, like character is in. Like it's a great fighting game, and what I think I like about it the most is that each character really has a different kind of play style. So like, one character will be your standard, quarter circle, fireball character. The Bat Lady is actually based on momentum, so like you have to start by jumping in the air, and then you can do a move from there. You've got your grapple character. But that game is a lot better than it has any right to be. And what kills me is like, it's been out on PlayStation and PC for like almost 2 years, and they just brought it to Xbox, and still I hear nobody talk about this game. And I think
on
it's
Game
great.
Pass?
No, it is not. It's not
okay.
on Game Pass.
That's why you don't hear anybody talking about it.
Well, I mean, I hear people talk about games that aren't on Game Pass. It's just, I don't know. This game's been around for a long time, and I don't know outside of myself.
Terrence.
Well, it's because I sent him a review code.
I'm just saying, Terrence was posting like videos to Twitter.
Yeah, see, I got somebody else to play it, and they can't stop talking about it.
I don't really care for fighting games. If it ain't Soul Calibur or Virtua Fighter, I don't give a shit.
Well, then you're just a bad person.
Oh, sorry, and Mortal Kombat. That's the other one.
Well, Mortal Kombat's the
That's right.
GOAT. So,
That is the GOAT.
the other game, the next game I played, I was hoping Drew would be here because he is more... he played this more than I did, and it's a very good game. I would have loved to hear more about it. But it's Flynn... Hold on, what's the name? Flynn, Son of Crimson. This one is on Game Pass, Wombat.
Okay.
It is a 2D side-scroller where the main character is basically has this giant dog that you can use to attack and ride. It's not, from what I can tell, and maybe Drew will talk about it next week, but it's not a Metroidvania. It is just straight like a hack and slash left to right. platformer game. And the pixel art is incredible. I love the animation of the characters. I think it's a really cool game, and I think I'm going to play. And the controls are super tight. Like, it feels really good to play. So, if you got Game Pass, go check that out. I attempted to play I Am Fish, but it does not have an option to invert the right stick camera, so I stopped playing I Am Fish. I started playing Skatebird. That game kind of controls like shit, if you're expecting like a Tony Hawk style game. So I stopped playing that. The Amazing American Circus, one of my favorite genres, Anthony. This is a card battling game. So you use the cards to perform tricks for the audience, and if the audience doesn't like it, that's how you lose, like, quote-unquote HP.
I kind of like the concept of that. That's kind of funny.
It's an interesting concept, and I will admit, like, it has a neat, like, way that it executes, but I just don't like card games. Cat Lateral Damage Re-Meowstered. I played one level of that, and I'm like, this kind of plays like shit.
Yeah, my son loves Cat Lateral Damage.
It controls like garbage, man.
To be fair, anything with a cat in it, he's all about. So, but he loved that game.
Yeah, that game just does not play well. This next game I am going to call like a little bit of a hidden gem, but I need to play more of it.
Why don't you piggyback off of our fucking Phoenix Down episode, you son of a bitch?
Bitch, I had answers to all of your questions in that show. Should have had me on. I could have answered all of it for you. This it's called Absolov End of Gods.
End of Gods.
This is a first-person horror game that starts off with one of the, like, you want a game to grab you when you first start playing it. This game did it perfectly. So, like, you're this woman on this table, and, like, it looks like you're being, like, operated on. Turns out you're in, like, this Norse horror. It's a Norse horror game. So, like, these gods are, like, looking at you, and then you all of a sudden get this ability, and it's just, I don't even know how to describe it. Like, the voice work, the graphics look really good. It's a first-person game. I don't know, man. There's something about the atmosphere of this game that really, really drew me in. And then I get to the point where the monster attacks me for the first time, and I just about shit my pants. It's almost pitch black. This thing comes running at you, screaming at the top of its lungs. I really think this game is very interesting, and I want to play more of it. But I just wanted to bring it up because if you're into first-person horror games, I think this is one that will probably go under the radar that you should definitely check out. The first of two Ratalaika games was Dojo Ron. This game reminded me a lot of the art style of Gato Roboto. It is black and white, very pixelated. It's just a platformer where you're a frog jumping, avoiding obstacles. That's literally all it is.
They just published some of the blandest of shit.
Yeah, they do. They do. Dustwind, The Last Resort, is a isometric perspective survival game, where you're basically just moving through the land, picking up weapons, killing enemies, using stealth. I don't necessarily want to call it a survival game. It's more like imagine if you were playing like a fully controllable Wasteland game, but it's not turn-based, it's real time. It reminded me more of that than like a survival game. It's actually not bad. Takes a little while to get used to the controls and a lot of the things you can do. Like, there are so many actions that you can do, and it's all in real time, so definitely would take a lot to get down. Earth Marines is a twin-stick shooter where you're shooting zombies. It is what it is. Finn and the Ancient Mystery was the first game that I think I could actually say gave me Wick and the Fable of Souls vibes. It's like a very obscure-looking platformer with, like, combat. It feels like one of those... it feels like a... God, what are those games that I'm trying to think of? Like, you know what I mean when I talk about it, but it's like... It feels generic, but also not, like, super generic. It's... Man, I don't know how to describe it. I was trying to think of a game that I could compare it to because I know there's been a billion of them. But it's just, like I said, it's just a 2D side-scrolling platformer with combat. Flasco Man is your 1,000 easy achievement points for the week. All you got to do is finish the first 10 levels. It's literally one of those. So the hook in this game is that you can fill your head is a flask and you can fill it with different like things to unlock doors and move puzzle stuff. And if you go through the first 10 levels, you get all 1,000 achievement points. Which that's when I stopped playing it. I was like, okay, I don't really want to play this anymore. I tried to play Merrick's Market. The game starts, somebody walked in my store, and I couldn't move or control the game. Like, it just didn't seem to work. So, Mr. Pumpkin 2, Kowloon Walled City. That's a weird game. You just walk around, pick up stuff, and big dragon shows up, and I don't even know how to describe that game.
But are you a pumpkin?
Yes, you have a pumpkin for a head.
Oh, nice.
And you have a mustache and a top hat.
Well, I wouldn't expect anything less.
Yes. Zombie Watch is a survival game, isometric perspective. It's kind of garbage. Didn't care much for it. Titan Chaser. That's a first-person narrative game. I had a very hard time driving the car in that game, so I didn't keep playing it. Pets No More is what was the Anthony? Maybe you remember this. You remember that game that got real popular where you're throwing the discs back and forth? It was an old like.
The Neo Geo one.
Yeah.
Disc jammers.
Windjammer.
Windjammers.
Pets No More is that, but instead of characters like that are human, they're zombie pets. But it's Windjammers with zombie pets. And does not control very well. Murder Diaries is basically Life of Fly and Life of Fly 2, except you fly around a murder scene and get perspective on it. That's all you do. This one shocked me. So, was the first Nexomon... So, Nexomon is that Pokemon ripoff. Was the first one published by Ratalaika? Because this new one, which is a prequel to the other Nexomon game, is published by Ratalaika. That's the other Ratalaika game.
No, it's published by Vivo Interactive.
Yeah, so the
hold
prequel...
on, let's see here. I didn't even know there was another game coming out.
Yeah, and it's a prequel to the first one.
That was on Xbox, I'm assuming, right?
It was on Xbox. It was also, I think it's on everything.
No, the one that you played.
Yes, this new one is just Nexomon. The first one was Nexomon something.
Nexomon Extinction, and there's Nexomon.
Yeah, Nexomon without the subtitle is the new game that takes place before the first game.
I fucking hate that, and that's annoying.
Yep.
The developer's not even the same.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, because the developer of the first one was Vivo, and then they published it. And then... What the fuck? Okay, so... I don't even know, man. Like, the Steam one says that P-Cube published Extinction. So I don't know who the fuck published what anymore. I don't give enough of a shit either. P-Cube published Nexomon on Switch.
I know the Ratalaika logo came up when I booted the game up, which was weird to me. But it's just more Pokemon. That's what it is.
Yeah.
The next game, Wombat, load up Game Pass, download this game, Origami 2.
Okay.
This is the closest thing I've played to Tenchu since Tenchu.
Interesting. All right.
Yeah, this game
it's
is
like 3D.
Yeah,
like
it's
Tenchu?
It's 3D. So Origami, the first one, I thought was a cool concept, but it is just a technical.
I like that game.
It's a technical mess, though.
I thought it was fine.
Origami 2, and you can actually play this co-op, is basically the same as Origami, except it runs a shit ton better, and it literally has all the Tenchu stuff. Like, basically the way the game is structured is you go in, you have this hub world, you go to the hub world, you take on these missions, you go on the missions, you can play with a friend or you can play solo, and as you play more, you'll be able to unlock new abilities. You can get into combat. Obviously, I don't recommend it, but it is basically, here's a little sandbox. get the stuff that needs to be done. It'll reward you for not killing people, not being seen, that kind of stuff. But it is very much like a Tenchu. I wouldn't say it's as deep as a Tenchu, but it is the closest thing I've played to a Tenchu since, good lord, I can't even remember the last good Tenchu game.
I think the first one's also on Game Pass, Ryan.
The one on was it Tenchu X? Is that what it is? The
Is
one
that
that was
the-
on the one that
Tenchu
was on
Z.
360 Z. That's what it is.
That's
Yeah,
the one made
that
by
one was-
FromSoft, right?
That one was pretty good. Other than that, I mean, you're back to Wrath of Heaven.
Yeah. I think you should download this. It's on Game Pass.
Okay, I'm gonna check it out.
Runs like a dream on the Series X, I will say that. Like, it's so smooth.
There's that one Tenchu clone on Vita that wasn't bad either, and now I can't remember the name of it. I reviewed it, and I can't remember the name of it.
God, I don't even know what you're talking about. This tells you how long it was.
It was, I'll find it.
Alright. So I have two big games I want to talk about. I'm actually playing another game that I can't talk about, which is the Hot Wheels game. I'll talk about that next week. I think next week.
Shinobito 2, by the way, Revenge of Zen is the game I'm thinking of.
Oh, Shinobito. Yeah, I remember those games. Okay.
Yeah. That one wasn't bad.
So the first game I picked up this week because I'd heard so many good things about it was Tales of Arise. So I picked this up for Xbox yesterday, and I'm already 5 hours into it. I just picked it up yesterday.
Nice.
This game is hitting. You ever get one of those games where it just hits everything you want it to hit, and it begs you to play it? Like, this is that game for me right now. Like, I've tried several games in the last few weeks. Like, I tried to get into Deathloop. It wasn't really hooking me. I've tried to go back to some older stuff. They weren't hooking me. This game just grabbed me and said, you're going to play me for 5 hours on a Saturday. And I totally did. And it's funny because I can't sit here and point to one thing that's like, this is what this game does that makes it so good. It just does everything I want it to do the way I want it to do it. And it's interesting. Like, I'm interested in the story. I love the combat. I love how so far it's paced out, like the mechanics of the game. Like, it feels like right as I have kind of gotten used to what I'm doing, it introduces a new thing that I can do. And I don't know, this game is just clicking all the right buttons, and I am absolutely loving it so far. Like I said, I'm about 5 hours in, and I'm going to enjoy just kind of playing through a really solid JRPG over the next couple months, and I'm really happy that I picked it up, because I'd question, like, yeah, it's really good, but am I really going to play like this big monster JRPG right now? Do I really need to, spend the money on it or whatever? But I did, and God, I'm glad I did. I can't wait to play it again. And then the other game I played, I put up a review this week, which was Cruisin Blast, and there's really not a lot to Cruisin Blast, which is kind of the good part about it, is that if you grew up or if you have fond memories of playing stuff like Cruisin' USA or Hydro Thunder or any of those kind of arcade racing games, Cruisin Blast is unapologetically that. So it is just a collection of tracks with some wild and outlandish shit like giant yetis fighting or dinosaurs or UFOs. You're moving at like ridiculous speed. You won't necessarily crash. Like, the game never really punishes you to the point where, like, if you hit something, you're gonna stop like completely. If you remember Cruisin', when you'd hit something, your car would spin in a circle. Well, this one does that. They've added the main arcade, or the main like career mode is structured kind of like Mario Kart. So like, here's the dinosaur circuit, here's the UFO circuit, and in each one of these circuits there's like 3 difficulties and 4 tracks. And as you go through them, you earn the trophies. Now, unlike Mario Kart, well, I guess some of the newer Mario Karts did this, but like unlike Mario Kart, as you play through these, you'll earn coins, and you'll earn like in each level there are 3 keys, and then you'll unlock the ability to buy new vehicles. So, and the keys are used for like outlandish vehicles. So the coins are mostly for new types of cars. But if the more keys you unlock, the more weird vehicles you can unlock, which include things like, I don't know, a 4-wheeler, or an Apache helicopter, or like I told Anthony, a fucking Triceratops that can drift. Like, this game takes me back to sitting in those cabinets and play, which makes 100% sense. If you look at who made this game, it is Raw Thrills, which is headed up by none other than Eugene Jarvis. So, I mean, the father of Cruisin has come back for Cruisin, and if you have any memory or any fondness for those kind of really big, ridiculous racing games, this game could not be any better. Like, I wish it wasn't just tied to Switch so more people could play it. And I have to say the performance on it is incredible. Unless you play split screen. Because it just tanks in split screen, and unfortunately that's the only way to play multiplayer because there is no online functionality. Which was my biggest knock on Cruisin Blast. No online. But other than that, I can't recommend it enough. I think you should buy it. I think it's amazing. So go buy Cruisin Blast. Next week I'll talk to you about Hot Wheels. But that's it. That's it for me. I played a lot of shit this week. And this doesn't even count my Madden and Overwatch time, which... Our review for Madden is going up this week. That game fucking sucks.
That's why you should play Retro Bowl instead.
I didn't review Madden this year. I gave it to somebody else, and I've been playing it because you know Wombat, like you just want to play the new version with the new rosters because it's your fucking sport.
Right.
But this has got to be one of the worst Maddens I've played in a long time. It is so bad. It's like you don't even put any effort in when. So they increased the season this year from 16 to 17 games.
Right.
I played through the franchise mode. After my 16th game, they had told me that I had won. Like, the announcers were talking about how the season was over. I still had one more fucking game.
Oh, so they didn't update the announcers.
No, the announcers thought it was the last game.
Oh, that's laziness right there.
Yeah, I'm just like, are you fucking kidding me? I was like, I got one more game.
That would be like if baseball goes to Universal DH next year and they just don't update the show to allow for Universal DH.
Yeah, it's man, there is so much that this game is, like, you play it, and like if you've been playing it like I have for years, you just look at it and you go, this is so fucking lazy. And it's not like I'm calling the developers lazy because COVID, all this shit, I get it. But god damn, don't put a game out this year, just roster update 21. Like, it's embarrassing how bad this game is. And it sucks too because, it's actually built for the new systems this year, like from the ground up. So it runs really well. It's just, so much of the package around it is just fucking embarrassing. They really need to step up because it's just getting bad. But anyway, I can't say anything because I still spent the money on it. I did not get a code for that. We got codes after a week after the game came out, and I'd already bought it. So I already fucked up and spoke with my wallet and paid for it. So, anyway. All right, let's go to what's out this week. And I'm going to tell you, it's a big week. All right. We got, let's go to the new systems first. We've got Street Outlaws 2, Winner Takes All. Diablo 2, Resurrected. That's one of the big games out this week. Diablo Prime Evil Collection. MechWarrior 5, Mercenaries, Legend of the Kestrel Lancers. Sable. Teacup. A Gummy's Life.
Teacup.
Yeah, Teacup. A Gummy's Life. Lost Judgment, that's another big game out this week, and Port Royale 4. Absolov, End of Gods is coming to PS4. The next big game out this week is Kena, Bridge of Spirits. Remember that? That's out this week. Subdivision Infinity DX. And Death Stranding Director's Cut. There's your other big game out this week. That's for the new systems. Let's move over to the Xbox One and PS4.
Oh, by the way,
yes,
I looked up why Radulaika was... Radulaika didn't publish it, but ported Nexamon.
Okay, that makes more sense. A lot of the same games are out for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Kena Bridge of Spirits, Absolov, End of God. Kena's not coming to Xbox, by the way. Don't take that the wrong way. It's only on PlayStation. SRX the game. World War Z Aftermath is out this week, which is like... It's not a sequel. It's more like here's the original game plus some new stuff, I think. Ember. MechWarrior 5 is making its way over to PlayStation. Rhythm of the Universe, Ionia. And everybody's most anticipated game of the week, The Addams Family Mansion Mayhem. I know you're waiting on that.
We'll see that second movie, though, because the first one really wasn't, for a kid's movie, wasn't bad.
I don't think I've seen the first one. It's on one of the streaming services, I think.
Yeah, well, I mean, for a kid's movie, it wasn't bad. My son really liked it, so.
I still need to watch Mitchell versus the Machines. I keep hearing that's incredible, and I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't seen or heard of that one.
That's a Netflix exclusive movie, and I've heard that it's like, it's one of those CGI, like, Pixar movies, but I've heard it's incredible. So, anything else on Xbox? So Ember, Sable coming to Xbox One. The Blind Postman, and Death Park, and Little Kite are also all coming to Xbox One this week. Now we're going to jump over to the Switch so you can get your horny games. We've got Squabble, Super Arcade Football, Work Trip, Street Outlaws 2 Winner Takes All, Crisis Wing, Cube Samurai Run Squared, Grisaya Phantom Trigger 06, Beast Breaker, Chef's Tale, Tail, must be like animal chefs. Diablo 2 Resurrected, Ember, Final Fantasy Legends, Fist of Fluffs, that's pretty good, I like that. Ham Puzz, Kira Stars Idol Project Memories, say that 3 times fast. Mage Quit, Mountain...
Clever.
What's that?
I said Mage Quit is clever.
That is clever. Mountain Bike Hill Climb Race Real 2D Arcade Dirt Racing Games. Say that 3 times fast. Holy shit.
I don't know that I can say that one time slow.
Swan Chernobyl Unexplored. I don't want to explore Chernobyl. Sorry.
Especially not as a swan.
No. Sakura Swim Club. That's got to be a horny game. That's got to be.
Guaranteed. Yeah.
Staxel, Suzerain, and there's Teacup again. The Plane Effect. Don't touch this button. It's got an exclamation point at the end.
Quick.
Dragon Ball Z Kakarot plus a new Power Awakened set. Hostoria, Monster Truck Arena, Space Startopia, and Top Down Racer. And there's your Switch games. Only one stuck out to me as a horny game. Maybe there might be more.
Okay, so do you
Okay.
want to know what it says on the Switch?
For what?
On Nintendo's website? Oh, for what? For what? The horny game. Because I
Sakura
always love
Swim
a good
Club?
laugh.
Is that the one you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay, tell me all
Spend
about.
some extracurricular time with cute girls who look great in the pool. What a cringy fucking statement.
Is there a
Features.
screenshot?
Of course there are. Of course there is. Of course there are. To be fair, none of them are like horribly scantily clad, but
I mean, they're all wearing swimsuits, right? It's right there in the name.
yeah, but it's like a one-piece swimsuit.
So is it like
Of course they
branded
have-
one piece, or sorry?
Oh, wow! I didn't even get that right away. Features: visual novel,
Sure.
multiple story paths, beautiful manga art, gorgeous athletic girls to romance.
Gorgeous athletic girls, and it's manga. Okay.
Oh, fuck off! I'm gonna pronounce it wrong, especially when I'm reading something like that.
I missed
Also, you mentioned a
Gambus.
Final Fantasy release.
Yeah, Final Fantasy Legends.
That must be a physical release because that's already. 'cause
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah, I guess
collection
so.
of Saga. right? And
Yeah.
that came out last year. So
I miss Gambus being on the show when we'd correct people to say manga to manga. He'd be like, manga! I miss a lot about Gambus, though, not just that.
For sure.
All right, I got a lot of news. But I'm going to start off with a whole bunch of delays. It's the season of delays. So we're going to start off with the most important one. Rocksmith Plus has been delayed to 2022.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's real disappointment right there.
like I didn't even know it was
My
coming
band-
out this year.
my
I
band,
didn't
my
even know
band's
there
gonna.
was a new Rocksmith coming out.
It's actually pretty neat. I think it's like an iPad.
Yeah, it's
basically.
like it's like a subscription service too.
I like the first Rocksmith.
My band won't be touring until next year. Then I suppose.
You have to cancel your tour. Dying Light 2 has
I
been
cancel the stream.
God damn it, Anthony! Can I finish talking about Dying Light 2?
No.
It's never coming out.
So Dying Light 2 has been moved to February, which, God, there's nothing coming out in February, right?
Dying Light 2
y'all
will come
don't
out the
know
same
that-
day as Dead Island.
I was going to say, y'all didn't get the joke, but like there's like a billion
Everything's
games
coming out.
Yeah,
February, I
everything's
understand.
coming out in February.
Okay.
Well, what response did you want, Ken?
Haha, you're funny.
There you go.
So, do you actually think Dying Light will make it out in February?
Oh, fuck no.
Okay, me either.
That game is in hell.
All right, here's a weird one. Battlefield was delayed. Battlefield 2042 by a month. Like that's a weird delay.
That, I think, has to be like one of those, like, we have caught something and we need to get that out before it releases.
Yeah, because there's not like a whole lot you can do in a month.
No, that's we caught something, I have to assume.
What's
or
fun?
or something was delayed horribly in like a physical manufacturing process.
So I don't know if you saw this, but this was the funny part about this story. So Jeff Grubb was the one that leaked that this was, being delayed. And
oh, God, Jeff Grubb, every podcast.
but wait, just give me a minute.
I
So-
know the story. It's like
Well, let me
every
tell it.
podcast
God
you have to
damn it!
Bring up Jeff Grubb.
Anyway, he leaked it the day before they officially announced it, and apparently people trusted he knew what he was talking about because the stock for EA like went into a tailspin for a day. What was it, like $2 billion is how much it dropped, like their worth or something? I don't know stock, so I just saw the stories floating around. For a less than 30-day delay. It's weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, we had console updates this week. So your firmware for your PS5 got updated to where you can put in your hard drives.
I thought you meant like got a console update. Still can't get one. All right.
That's not an
Thanks,
update.
Rube.
That's just standard right now. But no, your PS5 can now put a external hard drive in that costs more than your PS5. So you can do that. But the most important console update happened from Nintendo. They updated the Nintendo Switch, obviously in probably preparation for the Switch OLED. But they did add Bluetooth audio.
Did.
Fucking finally.
Explain this to me.
What would you like explained?
Bluetooth is not a software thing, it is a hardware thing. You have to have it in the
Yeah.
system. So it
Yeah.
took them 4 years to turn the fucking switch on?
No.
Yeah.
It took it didn't. It took 4 years for them to allow other things other than controllers. That's not a. It's been on the whole time. They've just simply locked out devices because
That's-
one implies that they were not competent and didn't hit the switch. Like that's what that implies. No,
Ah!
they purposely locked it out, which sounds a lot worse.
I'm going to go with the former.
No, it's they purposely locked it out because that's how a lot of third-party controllers connect to the Switch. It is Bluetooth. They're just locked out headphones. So to me that sounds worse. Like why is this okay now?
I've heard it's laggy as fuck though, by the way.
Well,
Just FYI. Also, did you notice this, Anthony? You can now, so your systems have firmware, your controller has firmware, and now your Nintendo Switch dock has firmware.
okay.
There's literally an option in the system menu in the Switch now to update the dock. I'm not even kidding when I say that.
Let's find out.
Yep, it's in there. I updated my dock. I did it. My dock is up to date with firmwares. Holy shit, Nintendo. Speaking of Nintendo, there's a new controller patent coming. They're making a new controller. You know when the last time this happened? When they patented the Super Nintendo Joy-Cons.
No.
So does that
You're
mean...
suggesting that maybe they're going to have another new style of Joy-Con?
Can you just in your head for just a minute, please?
I know can I guess what you're about to say?
You gonna ruin it? You gonna ruin it for me?
Yes.
Okay.
Are you thinking about N64 controllers?
Can you put N64 controllers on the sides of the Switch?
You can throw it like a ninja star.
Couple that with N64 games getting added to Nintendo Switch Online.
That would be the cool part. I'm just picturing the monstrosity of a Nintendo 64 controller being on each side of my Switch. And please, let's do like the bright yellow ones too, because fuck it. Let's just make it gaudy as shit.
Bright yellow, but then with the brown tip, so it's the banana controller. TK64.
That can be one side, but the other side has to be the glacier purple.
Oh,
yeah, I'm down with that.
Gaudy as hell.
You know what they could make on the Switch then? You could make like a BMX simulator, and you could hold each of the protruding N64 controller handles on each side.
Yep.
Like hold the
like a steering wheel.
Yeah, like a steering wheel, and then you got the screen in front of you, and you just, hey, guys who made Descenders, you can use that. Let's make that a mode.
One controller instead of a regular analog stick has that C stick on it from the GameCube, just to keep screwing things up.
Man, I really want N64 games. Like, we keep hearing about new games coming to Nintendo Switch Online, but I really just want to see the N64 controllers on each side of the Switch. It'd be so wonderful.
Would be pretty hilarious.
That's not the only Switch news I have, though. Also, the Nintendo Switch is getting a permanent price drop. ... In Europe. Not in America.
Not in America.
Yep. So the new regular Nintendo Switch will be... I don't know the conversion rates. They went down.
To be fair, it's in Europe, like it is now matching American pricing.
Yes, that's the reason why they dropped it.
Yeah, it's been absurd that euros are more than American currency, and they're paying €299 for a $299 console.
Yes, you are correct, sir.
Like that's dumb.
A lot of things Nintendo do is doom. Castlevania Advanced Collection has been rated in Taiwan for PS4, Xbox One, and Switch and PC, I think. So we're about to get them
Some of the best Castlevania games.
Yeah, baby. I'm looking forward to that collection. I want that collection to come
Circle
soon.
of the Moon.
Yeah, well, you know.
That Circle of the Moon's fine. You can actually play it now. So...
I just want more Castlevania because Konami ain't making none. So, Sega and Atlas are set to announce a new RPG at the Tokyo Game Show. But it's for mobile.
Oh god, I was gonna say it's just the word Persona, but backwards, like they did with what is it called? The Tokyo Mirage Sessions, which is SMT backwards, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's they tempered expectations. Tokyo Game Show is in like a week and a half. So I'm interested to see what we're going to see there. But yeah, they kind of they said they were going to bring out a new RPG, but it's apparently a mobile game, so it's not Persona 6, which everybody was thinking. But I don't think Persona 6 gets announced till next year. That's just me personally. Anthony Mackie has been confirmed to be the star of the Twisted Metal TV series coming up. I guess that's a thing. That's a real thing, huh?
Was not aware that was even a thing.
Yeah, it's been rumored for a while, but I guess with him signing on, that's
Well, they talked to what's his name about it.
Jaffe.
Thank you.
Yep. Blood Rain is coming to consoles again, this time in the form of revamped. Ziggurat announced this week that they're bringing the remaster, not remaster. Yeah, I guess it is a remaster.
Yeah, they're remasters.
1 and 2 to consoles this fall.
They're not remakes; they're remasters, and they have like extra. They fixed some stuff, I think, because it's the PC version that's been out for a while.
Yes.
This is what I thought they were releasing via limited run.
Oh yeah, no, they're
Oh,
doing the
yeah.
fresh bites.
Yeah.
Another announced new game this week, announced for PC and next gen consoles, is another Chinese game. It's Wu Chang Fallen Feathers. It's a third-person action adventure game.
You know, people always say, "Well, China and their what's it called? Their what's it called? The gambling stuff, gotcha games." But it's like, I don't know. They've been some pretty good single player stuff.
Well, they're the ones doing the Wukong game too. That's coming out of China.
Yeah, and like I'm playing Eastward as we talk.
Yeah, and Fist just
Like-
came out.
And Fist is good. I can't say really good, but Fist looks really good.
Yes, it does.
I forgot to mention when we were talking about it, but because it's come up again, it stutters.
Oh, really? It does. Well, it only runs at 30 on PS4. It runs at 60, and it's pretty smooth on
It
PS5.
runs fine, but there's certain areas where you are like clearly kind of between two spots, and the
Mhm.
game stutters for a second. It's
Okay.
not the end of the world. Like sorry, stutter is a bad. It like freezes for a split second. It's not long enough to think there's actually a problem. It's just like, oh, that was a skip. You know?
Gotcha.
So
THQ had an event on Friday celebrating the 10-year anniversary of THQ Nordic, which is funny. But they announced some new games. We got Destroy All Humans 2 Remastered announced, Outcast 2, SpongeBob SquarePants The Cosmic Shake.
I'm excited for Outcast 2 and SpongeBob.
I'm down for
So-
Destroy All Humans, and fuck it, I'll play a SpongeBob. That last one was pretty good.
Well, it's made by the same people that did the last one, but this time it's their own thing and not a remake. So I'm kind of excited to see what they do. I'm hoping it's to the same quality. And Outcast is like
Yeah, if you
Outcast
try to
they
go back
brought
and
back.
they put back a remaster of that first one.
I have it. Yeah, well, if you go on Steam, I think there's like two versions. There's the remaster, which is just a coat of paint over the original, and then there's Outcast 1.5 or something like that, which is like an actual update, but it looks like shit still.
Well, I remember playing that remaster and the one that's just the coat of paint.
Yeah,
And it plays
feels
like
just like a coat of paint.
Yeah, it's a piece. It plays
the-
like shit.
But that game is so weird and neat, and so I'm excited to see a new one.
Yep. They also announced Jagged Alliance 3 and yet another MX versus ATV. We got MX versus ATV Legends. I think Rainbow Studios, like, I feel bad for them because they've been like relegated to making MX versus ATV for what feels like 2 decades now. Like that's the only game they make.
They made the Cars games, but this was their own series, so maybe that's.
Oh,
not
I'm
a
aware.
complaint they have.
I've talked to the guys at Rainbow Studios. I met them back at E3 because I was obsessed with the game they made that wasn't MX versus ATV. It was called Splashdown. And I was playing Jet X2O, which was Sony's kind of soft reboot of Jet Moto, which was not Jet Moto. It was terrible. and I was talking about how much I wanted it to be like Splashdown, and then it just so happened the developer of Splashdown was standing behind me. And he asked me what it's like my little thing. Like, he asked me what I thought would make Splashdown 2 good, and I think I ruined that game by telling him that it should be like SSX, because if you remember, Splashdown Rides Gone Wild was the sequel, and it was not very good.
I have never played a Splashdown game, so
Me neither.
Okay. Yeah, no, I told him that that's what they should do, and I don't know if I was the reason why they did that, but if it is, I apologize. Because Splashdown Rides Gone Wild was not very good. Anyway, I loved Rainbow Studios back in the day. The very original MX Unleashed, I think is what it was called, right? MX Unleashed?
Yeah.
That game was awesome. Splashdown was awesome. And then I feel like they've made 12,000 MX versus ATV games since then, and they've all been kind of not great.
Yeah, they're really only fun to just mess around in.
Yeah, and you only need one.
Right.
You don't need
I
40.
remember watching someone play that on stream, one of them on stream, and they were like, "Oh, look how bad this game is. Dirt bikes can't go across water." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's not the part like they can. That's not the part of this game that's bad."
Whichever one was free a couple years ago on Xbox, it's a 360 one. Reflex, I think, is what it is.
Yeah, I can't keep track of all the subtitles.
Yeah, my son and I will play that one every now and then. We really only play it to play tag.
You and me and good old Ernie.
Yep.
And a few other people used to play that game online, and what would we do? We'd go into the open world and just fuck around.
Just around. It was an excuse to just talk for an hour and mess around while you were doing it.
I mean, that could have been the last game they ever made in that series, and I'd have been cool with it.
Yep.
I got one of those in a Humble Bundle that I think it was just Nordic or whatever at that point. But they had a Humble Bundle of PS3 and PS4 games, and I got like 2 MX versus ATV games in that bundle.
Yeah, there's only like 500 of them, so the thing is MX versus ATV is like a game that everybody owns one of.
At least, yeah.
Yeah, everybody's got at least one MX versus ATV game. All right, you want to talk about this Nvidia leak?
Sure.
So, I don't know if you saw this. Somebody like got into like the database of the like Epic Game Store, and it has a bunch of games on it, and some of them are quite outlandish. I don't know if you've seen this. So you've got stuff like Bayonetta 3, Avowed, Gears of War 6, God of War, Gran Turismo. These all make sense, right? But then you've got stuff like Crysis 4, and Destroy All Humans 3, and Earth Defense Force 6, and Final Fantasy 9 Remake, Half-Life 2 Remastered, Injustice 3, Gods Will Fall, Mortal Kombat 12.
So can you slow down and go through the list of stuff you just read again?
Do you want me to read the whole list?
I mean, how long is that list?
Looks like it's about 30, 40 games.
Fuck it, sure. What time is it?
All right.
Yeah, we haven't done it that long. Let's go.
You've got Avowed, which we know is coming.
Fine.
Batman Arkham Knight RTX Remaster. Bayonetta 3.
I could see that. That's where the Bayonetta 3 throws me off, because I'm sorry, like, did Nintendo all of a sudden not publish? They're not publishing?
Yeah, because Nintendo don't do PC.
Yeah, so like that doesn't make any sense.
BioShock 2022. BioShock RTX Remaster.
Yeah, another one that makes sense, yeah.
Catherine Full Body.
Yep.
Here's one. Chrono Cross Remastered.
Yeah, horseshit. So when they say remastered, it's gonna be like Final Fantasy VIII Remastered, where or the Final Fantasy VIII that's on the Switch, where it's like they have some assets that they have up-resed and stuff, but like for the most part, it's going to be the same game.
City Skylines 2, that makes sense. Crysis 4, I could see it, especially with that trilogy coming out this fall.
Yeah, that's not
Uh,
a surprise.
Death Stranding Director's Cut PC. I expect that.
Yep.
Demon Souls. Wouldn't be shocked.
No, me neither.
Destroy All Humans 3. Probably.
Oh, it's THQ Nordic. I'm
Yeah.
absolutely certain they'll try one of their own.
Dragon's Dogma 2. I think that's real, but we'll see. Earth Defense Force 6. What's that?
Earth Defense Force. Oh, sorry.
What?
They are. You hear me?
No, you're like
You're breaking
Max
up.
Headroom shit.
Hold on. How?
This
Catch
is
the wave.
awesome. You sound like it's. Oh man, it's awesome. Nope.
Okay, before you break up completely, Ryan, please say "catch the wave."
Catch the
Oh, it's just devolving into chaos.
I love this. This is my favorite thing. Holy shit. His son must be downloading a big game on that Xbox. Oh, there he goes.
Oh man, he actually got out. Catch the wave though.
I know, dude. That's gonna be my headline for this episode. Is Catch the Wave.
Oh man,
This is too good.
it's the only thing I could think of that like I can be like, yeah, the Max Headroom,
God.
because no one remembers it for New Coke. Why would you?
All right, I'm gonna keep going while we're waiting on him to come back.
Yeah, because that was Dragon's Dogma.
Earth
No,
Defense.
Earth Defense Force, yeah, I'm not surprised. I can totally see that happening because World Brothers and Iron Rain were made by Ukes, and 5 and 4 were made by Sandlot. So they're due.
Yeah, this next one, come on. Final Fantasy IX Remake. Not Remaster, Remake.
I don't.
Dude, we ain't even gonna get 7 anytime soon.
No. I don't know if that's. I'm gonna chalk that one up to it being written wrong because someone had to put in that information, and all they could totally have a brain fart and write remake rather than reissue when it came to typing out. Because I don't believe a remake. I assume that's what that is a fuck up.
Final Fantasy Tactics Remaster.
Yeah, again, not surprised.
Gear 6, probably.
Yeah, probably.
God of War, probably.
Sure, yeah.
Gran Turismo 7, at some point, probably.
Mm,
Sony's putting all their games on PC now, like after a year
yeah,
or two. So.
but I mean, that one... yeah.
Gravity?
Maybe that's to make up some money. Sorry?
Gravity?
I don't know that game.
Might be a new game. GTA 3, Vice City, and San Andreas remasters.
That
That's
we've
been a
rumored,
rumor.
yep.
Half-Life 2 remastered. I don't know.
That's been a rumor.
Halo 5
That's been a
Guardians.
rumor.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it never made it to PC, so yeah, sure.
Human Fall Flat 2. God, I hope not.
Oh, I can...
Indus. I don't know what that is. Oh, that's the Microsoft project name. That Jez Corden of Windows Central's been teasing. You know how they do the project names.
Sure. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I don't know what this is about type of thing. I haven't heard about it at all, so...
Ryan just texted me, said his internet's out. He'll try to be back in a minute.
Oh, well, that explains...
Injustice 3, Gods Will Fall.
We've had that conversation already
Yep.
enough times. So
Judgment. Makes sense.
Judgment?
Yeah. It's already out on Steam, right? It's just got to come to...
No.
Oh, that's right, because of the license stuff. That's right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one's actually probably the most far-fetched outside of Bayonetta right now.
Oh, just wait. I got more far-fetched. Kalimba is the next one. I don't know what that is. Kingdom Hearts 4.
Oh, you should have started that list off with that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay,
Coming.
here's
20XX, because they can't give you an actual date.
Mario and Rabbids.
Fuck off.
Metal Gear Solid
this
2 and 3
fucking list.
HD.
This list is horse shit.
Yep. Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 HD.
I mean, sure, maybe.
Mirror's Edge RTX Remaster. Maybe, yeah. Monster Hunter 6. I didn't even know there was a 5. Oxide unannounced. All right, we're into the projects. You ready for the projects? We've got Project FPS, Project Holland, which in parentheses says Fable ? Project Typhoon, which is in parentheses contraband. That's exactly what it is. Project Woodstock, which in parentheses is ? Forza. Ratchet and Clank, I could see that. Resident Evil 4 Remake, that is coming at some point, so. Returnal, wouldn't shock me. Shin Megami Tensei 5.
No, because that's a Nintendo exclusive.
Sniper Elite
this
5.
list. Yeah, I mean they are on 5. That makes sense.
Street Fighter 6.
Sure, I guess they have to be working on a new one with 5 coming.
Tekken 8.
Now, I have a question. This is a really what? Who got hacked?
Nvidia. So the story is blah 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 blah. Potentially uncovered a large number of games that be coming to Nvidia GeForce Now.
Give me a second. I want to know what chipset the Switch uses.
It's Nvidia's mobile chipset, I believe.
Yeah, Tegra. Okay.
Yeah. Welcome back, Max Headroom.
Thanks. Is it better?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good.
I assume if it's coming, it's going to be one of those China only things, because Nintendo did put a couple Wii games and other things. I want to say.
I think you're trying to make this list work more than it is. I'm assuming this is a database backend thing, where they're just putting in placeholder names.
But why would you put in a placeholder name for something you're not getting?
I mean, people do that all
You know
the
what I mean?
time. Just having fun.
Well, my thing is that like Nvidia did have that handheld in China that could play like Super Mario Galaxy and stuff in HD long before the Switch release of it.
All right, we got a few more here. Well, let's rattle this list off. We got the Talos Principle 2, Titanfall 3. Yeah, that's never happening. Tomb Raider Anniversary. We've got 2 Untitled games. We've got Untitled Respawn game and Untitled The Initiative game. Here's an interesting bullet point. Various Nintendo games running via an emulator. Okay. And then the last game is XCOM 3, which would not shock me. So there you go. There's the whole leak. Oop-de-doodles, right?
That way, that list seems fucky. That's the best way I can put it.
No, absolutely. And I don't believe a lot of it. I'm real tired of all these rumors floating around. I don't know, have you seen, like, people have been talking all week about acquisition rumors? Microsoft's going to acquire this, Microsoft's going to acquire that. Y'all need to fucking stop. Like, dude with 7,000 Twitter followers does not know who Microsoft is buying next, okay? Let's knock this shit off. I could start rumors that are totally unfounded. I saw one of the insiders tweeted back in March, Persona 4 or Persona soon on Xbox Game Pass. He still has that tweet pinned. It's fucking September. I don't know if you know this, but 6 months is not soon. Unpin your tweet. Stop acting like you know shit. I can't stand people who get online and they're like, oh, if you knew what I knew. You don't know shit. You don't know a fucking thing. You think you know. You act like you know. You don't know. Stop.
Gotta get them clicks.
I mean, click what? You ever watched one of those videos, Anthony?
No, no.
Oh my God! It's just.
Why would you ask me that question when you?
I'm
knew
just
the answer
curious.
was no.
I'm just curious if you've ever out of just pure
morbid curiosity.
Yeah, like
I'd rather watch. I'd rather watch beheading videos.
I have never heard somebody talk so much and say nothing.
You listen to this podcast?
I don't have to listen to it. I'm on it. I'm the
Right.
one saying nothing. I can't anymore, man. I can't with these people. They drive me crazy. Between them and the console plastic box grifters,
No, I mean, the plastic box grifters are always going to be there. I mean, at this point, I just kind of somehow ignore them. But like the problem, the plastic box grifters, the ones that want to fuck their Xbox or PlayStation and all that stuff, they don't bother me to the same level because they don't indoctrinate people into their thought process.
not true.
In fact, not. Yeah, but those people are already inclined. I'm sorry, but like, if you're going to fight like that on the internet for like PlayStation or Xbox or whatever, like you were already inclined to do that. You're not going to be some like my issue with the grifters that share like the inside deets that they have, right?
You ain't got
It's all
no
bullshit.
deets. You ain't
Yeah,
got
exactly.
no deets.
But like those people, like every time, well, Metroid Prime Trilogy wasn't in this Nintendo Direct. What? Why would you think that? Like, and I go back to that example because it's just been the most popular one. But it's the same with Mother 3 and all this crap. Like, these people get others that are like totally not, you know, they just believe it because the rumor spreads enough that it's true, not that it's validated, right? In any sense. Like, its only validation is that enough people have said it. And then they get upset with Nintendo, like Nintendo's the one that did it. No! No, Nintendo didn't do that. Like, it is these people online, and it's unfair. I can't believe I'm saying this. It's unfair to the company, but it's unfair to the people that work their fucking social media accounts. Like, have some fucking self-respect and don't share fucking rumors like this constantly.
I would hope that those social media managers are trained just to ignore those idiots.
But it's not just those idiots. That's my problem. It's like console box warriors, unfortunately there's a lot of them, but it's just those idiots. With rumor shit, it ends up spreading and then you have like fucking crash and smash. Uh-huh.
So who is the
Sure.
last character, Anthony? I know you're an insider into the Nintendo world.
My ass is the last character.
Anthony's ass.
I don't think anybody's
fuck.
buying that.
Yeah, well, you bought the fighter's pass. That's how they get you.
I did buy the Fighter's Pass.
I did not.
It's just going to be Sephiroth again.
It's Sephiroth, but he's cooler, so he has sunglasses. on.
No, it's Sephiroth, but he has a mustache.
It's actually this time it's Sepha David Lee Roth.
Oh shit!
Oh,
If Sephiroth took his sword
What was it?
and like turned it upside down like a microphone and imitated David Lee Roth, I would totally pay for that DLC.
does when he
Every
jumps,
time
he
you
does
fall
the
off the
splits?
stage, it goes jump.
Shit.
Dude, I would totally buy that. Are you kidding me? I would 100% buy that DLC. I don't know. Man, Twitter is so exhausting lately. I don't know about you guys, but I am constantly hitting the mute button and the
No, 'cause
block
I don't.
button.
I clearly don't follow the same problems.
Social media in general is just awful.
I love having a good conversation with people when it's measured. I got into a 2-hour argument, I think like it was like 2 weeks ago, about... I don't even remember what it was about. It was something like a game coming to another console or something. I don't know that I said... Oh, no, it was the Horizon thing, where I said it was a good move that they allowed the standard edition to upgrade, because I thought it was pretty shitty that they had changed that to where if you buy the PS4 version, like, you didn't even have an upgrade path. You just had to buy the game again for PS5. And I said, well, this is good. And the dude argued with me for like 2 hours because he was like, well, now PS4 owners just get it for free. I'm like, I don't give a shit if Sony loses money on this. Like, that's not my concern. I'm more concerned about the consumer getting screwed on, oh, hey, I can't buy a PS5. I want to play Horizon. So I bought Horizon on the PS4. Now I buy PS5. I got to spend $70 to get the same game I already bought for $60. So I'm spending $120, $130 for one game. And I think that's shitty. And like, I know it's not the norm right now, or it wasn't the norm before. Like last gen, if you bought a 360 game, then you wanted the Xbox One game, you had to buy it again. But it has become the norm. Like even Sony has said that, you know, for Horizon, Gran Turismo, God of War would all have upgrade paths. They said that. So
Yeah, I mean, like, Sony screwed themselves on that. So that's where, you know, not paying more is, like, not really an issue. Had they not said that there was going to be an upgrade path, then I guess we would have had to deal. Also, people seem to forget, at the beginning of PS4, they had that $10 upgrade path then as well.
you remember you had to put the Black Flag disc into your PlayStation to pay for the upgrade?
No, because I didn't do it, but
Yeah, that was what you had to do. You had to put the PS3 disc into your PS4 or something like that, and then like pay for the upgrade or some weird.
oh, I'm
shit.
sure. It's just like, you know, Injustice 1 had that and stuff, and it's just like, at least give people the option where they don't have to buy the game fully. And like, it was Sony's choice to not have customers pay. So
I mean,
I'm not,
yeah, 9 months
they've clearly
later.
done the cost. Yeah, but they've clearly done the cost assessment and was like, well, the bad press isn't worth it. So Horizon will just be free to upgrade, and then everything else will be $10.
I would have been happy if they'd have charged the $10. I don't even care about that. Like Death Stranding comes out this week, and you can pay $10 to upgrade it. I think that's perfectly fair.
And and like clearly they think that's fair too. Otherwise, they wouldn't be charging only $10 for it. Like,
I know people got nuts about the Ghost of Tsushima one because it was $30. I'm like, yeah, but you're getting an expansion.
Yeah.
That's a different thing. Like the $10 is fine. Like if they put out a Horizon Zero Dawn for PS5 native, I think $10 is fair for that. I prefer it to be free, like Microsoft is doing, but I don't think $10 is unfair. You know, you're going to ask me what I prefer. It's always going to be my bottom line, not fucking Sony's bottom line. Fuck Sony's bottom line. I don't give a shit if they make money or not. And you know, people get mad. They're like, well, don't you want these games to succeed? I'm like, of course I do. I buy games. But if I can get a game $10 cheaper, or if I can get something better for me, I'm going to go for me 100% of the time. Sorry. You know, my well-being is much more important to me than Sony's well-being. I'm sorry. And that's never going to change. I'm not going to give them more money than I have to. So I don't know. I don't know if that's just me, like, or like, are people out there really adamant about making sure Sony gets as much money as possible from you? Like, is that how you guys buy games? I don't know. Am I the only one still here?
No, I'm just like, I don't really have an answer to it. It's like, how many times have I bought it remasters and stuff? Like,
but if you could get it cheaper, would you?
Of course,
Sure.
the answer is always going to be
That's what I'm
yes.
saying. Is like,
But like, again, like, you can't argue with these people.
I just don't understand how like you would look out for Sony before you would look out for yourself. Like, I got bills to pay, man. I got kids to feed. I got a kid to feed.
I was gonna say, when did you pick up another one?
You know, they were on sale last week, and you know. Anyway, I think that's all the news I have. Unless you have anything, Anthony. I know sometimes you have some stuff.
a bunch of stuff has been dumped on Hidden Palace, I believe. Give me a minute. I wasn't prepared, clearly. So let me just go to Reddit, because that's where I found the news.
Boop boop
Um,
boop.
Yeah, I know. Hidden Palace released a new collection of 135 Dreamcast game prototypes and 349 Xbox game prototypes, including multiple unreleased games and never before seen builds. So there you go.
There you go. All right. I ain't got no emails this week except for some advertising guy wanting to be on the show. Maybe I should bring him on the show. Maybe he can tell me about SEO. All right. I got some tweeters though. Want me to read the tweeters? Mookie is responding to our milkshake question from last week. Milkshake from McDonald's? Seriously? Dude, that shit tastes terrible. Dry and too much artificial flavored BS. Last time I had a good one was from Five Guys. Have you guys ever had a Five Guys milkshake? I've not had one yet.
I have not.
Huh.
You know, but I just had a milkshake last night that was really good, and I thought, you know what? I should have brought these guys up last time. Red Robin.
Oh, I've never had one from there.
It was good. I had strawberry milkshake from there yesterday. It was delicious.
I had a chocolate peanut butter milkshake from Dairy Queen. I think it was Wednesday or Thursday. That shit is delicious. I was playing another game, so I forgot to mention this game when we talked about games. But you know, Drew and I do those weekly Game Pass quests. So this week there was one for PUBG, and I hadn't played PUBG since like before it came out of early access on Xbox. So we booted up and went into the game, and that game is a different game than the last time I played it. And the achievement, like the Game Pass quest, was to get one kill. So like immediately off the bat, I got the kill. We were in a trio because we grouped up to play, and there was a third guy with us. Well, we were just trying to get the quest. We were those assholes. So we were
Don't
just
tell me you dropped.
No. So we were trying to get the quest. We were going to finish the game, and like literally, I got it as soon as we landed. I found a guy and I shot him. I got the quest. So I was trying to help Drew get his. So as the circle was closing, we were moving across the field, and the guy was following us, but we're talking, but like he's just trying to stay with us. So we found a 2-person Doom buggy, and we got on it and started to drive away. So our teammate shot me in the head.
Good.
So Drew had to run off, which, by the way, we finished 4th because Drew survived until the last circle. And you know who ended up winning, like on our team, was me. Even though I was the first one to die, I did the most damage and I had 3 kills. I'm going PUBG Pro. I don't know if I told you yet. I got 3 kills after not playing for 3 years or however long it's been. Mookie says, yeah, I watched Malignant yesterday and I thought it wasn't scary much, but the reveal caught me off guard. And yeah, you better watch Hereditary. That fucking shit made me uncomfortable. And go watch Underwater while you're at it, Drew. Drew's not here. I still need to watch Hereditary. It's still super expensive, so I haven't picked it up yet. So I'll get to it. I swear. Drew did watch Malignant, and he texted me, and he was like, that movie was stupid. I was like, I know, right? But how about that reveal? And he was like, that reveal's fucked up. Did you find it, Anthony? I know you were looking for it.
No, I know what happens, though.
Oh, have you seen it?
No.
Oh!
I don't think I need to.
You need to see it. It's fucked up, dude.
Yeah, but I've watched fucked up movies before. It's like, not...
I can't believe... But see, that's your problem right there, Anthony, is you spoiled it, and now it's not going to be the same.
Yeah, well...
That's robbing yourself of the
honest with you,
experience.
once I saw it, I was like, this is not... I can't even say what I'm like, yeah, that sounds a lot like this. And it's like, yeah, it's kind of like that, but I can't say that because then it spoils the plot. So...
Well, here's the thing.
I've seen things that are like it.
I knew the twist before I saw it. Like, the twist itself is not what threw me off. It's the scene where you realize what it is. Like, that scene is disturbing.
Oh, I'm sure again, though, it's not like my first disturbing movie either. So it's just like, to me, it's like, all right.
I like that movie. I like it a lot. Pretty much anything James Wan does, I will be there day one. Keep making fucked up movies. I like them. Kane tweets at us and says, "Hey guys, Five Guys is coming to Australia. Is 1,000 kilometers / 600 miles too far to go?"
Oh God,
That's a pretty long way.
it's on the opposite side of Australia.
It must be, right?
Oh man.
No, Australia's way bigger than that.
Yeah, I know.
600
But-
miles is way too far to drive.
I would drive 600 miles for a Five Guys burger.
Well, I'm just trying to think of where it would be that distance, other than because like they're on a lot. Like most of Australia is kind of on the eastern side, and there's like one major city on the west side. And I'm just trying to think of where they put this, where it's that far a drive, other than like living out in the middle of nowhere. Which, hey, if you do, and the environment hasn't killed you, I think that makes you the strongest person alive. But like, yeah, that's the reason why I'm like, oh, clearly across Australia. Go to Bendigo to get me cube.
I get it's Five Guys burger though. It's real good.
The fries though. Might be
Fries
worth
are
it.
real. The fries
Burger,
are,
yeah.
dude, those are some tasty shit right there. Mookie says, "I grew up watching this movie. How about you guys?" And it's a GIF from Flight of the Navigator.
The
Yeah.
voice of Pee Wee Herman.
Flight of the Navigator is like, I remember that movie, and I definitely watched it when I was a kid. Like, it kind of freaked me out at times, like when the steering wheel morphs. Do you remember that scene where like little thing in the middle that he steers like morphs into something? I don't know. That's a weird movie.
Way, Anthony, to answer your question, Sydney to Melbourne is almost 550 miles.
There you go.
And wasn't it? How far of the drive was he saying?
600
600.
miles.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Anybody else watch Flight of the Navigator?
I know of
Flight
it.
The Navigator.
I've wanted to see it.
What's that
I
kid's
think the
name? He's
idea-
like, what's that kid's name? He was in a lot of 80s movies, if I remember.
Don't remember.
Shit. I'm going to have to IMDb that now, aren't I? That's how the world works. If you can't find something now, you don't just have to walk around upset. You can go to IMDb and find it. Kid's name is Joey Kramer. And he was also in... What else was he? Oh, God, he wasn't in much. Okay, he was...
Flight of the Navigator.
Yeah, he was in Clan of the Cave Bear. A few
Okay.
episodes of Murder, She Wrote. I mean,
Angela Lansbury had his career ended. That's why he's not in anything else.
that's true. That's true. He has,
Must have made an enemy of Angela Lansbury.
the last movie he was in was The 12-Step Strangler in 2021.
I want to say that, speaking of Australia, that Flight of the Navigator, the only place to get like the Blu-ray was Australia.
I swear this kid was in more stuff, but apparently I am wrong. I mean, even his picture on IMDb is of him from like 1984.
Telling you, you make an enemy of Angela Lansbury. That's the end of it. You're
God,
done.
the first movie he was in was Runaway with Tom Selleck's mustache.
Well, maybe he made an enemy of Tom Selleck's mustache.
Sarah Jessica Parker was in Flight of the Navigator, according to this. God damn. And yeah, you're right, Anthony. Paul Rubens as Max. Pee Wee Herman.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. You can watch it on Prime Video, by the way. You can buy it for $9.99. Christine says, "Hey, I got a little suggestion. Maybe when you guys talk about games, you might mention the title again after. Often after you describe the game, I'm interested, but I've forgotten the title by the end. I have to rewind and listen again.
On the show when that happens to me, so I like that suggestion.
Okay. I saw that tweet
do that from now
before.
on.
Yeah, I saw that tweet before we did today's, or while we were doing today's games. That's why I was mentioning like Eastward and WarioWare.
The game that I played was Yakuza 0. It's easy.
Eastward and Fist. That's it.
I can't go through all the indie games, but the games I talked about that were big were obviously Tales of Arise and Cruisin Blast.
Cruisin Blast.
Dude, it's got a new Cruisin song on the title screen.
Oh. Okay.
I think it goes.
When I saw the Yeti course, I was like, all right, I need this game.
Yeah, like the title screen song is like, "Let's go cruising." It's real good. It's not Cruisin' USA good, but it's real good. Mookie says sorry. I played that bird skateboard game. It's cute, but not my type of skateboard game. That game does not play well. Like, I get the memeing of that game, of like, oh, it's a skateboard, it's a bird on a skateboard. But God, make the game play okay. It's those games we hate, Wombat, where it's like based on the physics and the funky movement.
Yeah, I can't do that.
And it's just, it don't feel right. Like, when you think skateboarding game, what's the first thing you think of when you think of controls? Tony Hawk.
Grinding?
Tony Hawk.
Oh, yeah. Tony Hawk.
100%
I thought you meant
Tony Hawk.
specifically in the game.
Yeah.
But yes, Tony Hawk.
If you'd have
Is it
just,
Superman by Goldfinger.
if you'd have just,
game mechanics.
if you literally had just made it play like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, I'd probably play the shit out of a game with skateboarding birds. Okay. But this game is so floaty. And it don't feel right. My bird falls off his skateboard like every other trick. It's not fun.
Stupid bird.
Goddamn bird. Although you can give the bird a top hat and a monocle, so I wish it played better. Like, truly.
Birdie.
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 Hiker.
God damn it.
Mukiel says, just finished Kingdom 2 Kingdoms, and man, that was a tough end game, but satisfyingly good. Love the cross-save PC to mobile. I don't know that I've ever played that game.
What's it again?
Kingdom 2 Kingdoms.
I've never even heard of it.
Yeah, me either.
I believe that's the one that had, because there's Kingdom New Lands, I think, is one of them, and then it's like a side-scrolling game of some sort. I don't know how they play, but I think the one that he just finished has a crossover with Bloodstained. Because I wanted to play it because it has Bloodstained content. But I have never played the other one, so.
Alright. He says, about the Dune movie, I should have waited for the second part to release, and now I have to wait, but it's good. It's not out yet.
Yeah, I didn't think it was out yet.
Oh, but they come out in different, like, it comes out in different regions depending on, like, I think Star Wars The Force Awakens came out like 2 or 3 weeks before 2 or 3 weeks before in like the Philippines when that came out. So it's like, probably one of those staggered releases worldwide.
I thought this was not till November. I was trying to find the date.
I just can't believe it's only part 1. I didn't know there was going to be parts.
Oh, it's a month out. It's October 22nd.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the book is pretty sizable, so.
I honestly didn't know they were, I mean, it's for the best, I'm sure, but it's just one of those, like, I thought it was going to be one movie, because, like, I didn't know that they had announced, or if they had announced that or not, so.
I'm not, like, I don't know anything about Dune. It's not my jam. But
Walk Without Rhythm.
I'm going to watch this, because a lot of people talk highly of Dune. So.
You've never watched the old movie?
Huh?
You've never seen the old movie?
Mm-mm. I've never seen any Dune movie.
Probably for the best you didn't watch the old movie.
Highlight of the original is Sting the singer saying, "I will kill him." You just look up that clip and you've seen everything you need to see in the first Dune movie.
Oh, you didn't like that movie, I take it?
It's not that
I
great.
don't think anyone likes that movie.
Oh, a lot of people like Dune, though, so.
Yeah, but the movie was like one of those development hell stories.
Yeah.
Originally, H.R. Giger was supposed to do like the design for it, and then just um, David Lynch had his name removed from it. Just tells you the quality of the movie.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, here's an interesting. So you will already know the results of this before this podcast goes live, but we got a tweet from Mr. Fantastico6. He says, "If your team delivers another helpful win, I will send a giveaway for the podcast if you allow it." He's referring to football. My team is playing currently, as of us recording this. So, we took down the Baltimore Ravens last week. The question is, can we take down the Pittsburgh Steelers today? And if we do, he's going to send in something for a giveaway. So there you go. Now y'all can retro root for the Raiders so you can get something free. I don't know. There you go. That's all the tweets I got. What's that?
The only piece of football that I care about is fantasy football, and both of my teams are not doing that well today. So
Didn't you pick up Jacobs?
What?
Josh Jacobs, isn't he on your team?
he was last year. He's not this year.
Okay, I was going to say that's good because he's out.
Yeah, no, I did not this year. But last year I had him.
I do. So, to go back to what I talked about at the very beginning of the show, I have to tell you I was very shocked. So, the Xbox Series S purchase was completely unplanned. I just happened to go into the Microsoft store, and me and my wife were discussing how, like, you can't buy any video game consoles right now except for a Switch for, like, less than retail price.
Right.
And it was just there. It just said, buy now. And, like, I literally went out and had a half-hour conversation before I came back and purchased it. And I was like, all right, if it's still there, I'll go back in and buy it. And I went in, it was still there. I hit buy on my Xbox, paid for it, and it came 2 days later.
Nice.
I mean, I don't understand. Like, I guess those things are just readily available now? I don't know. I wasn't looking for one. So...
It's weird.
Yeah, it's not like I wasn't actively trying to get one. It was just a random Thursday evening. I was like, I wonder if you can buy these. And I'm like, oh, you can just buy these. It's such a weird thing, man. Anyway, that's all the tweets I got. That's all the emails I got. If you want to send an email, it's podcasts@ztgd.com. If you want to tweet at us, it's at N4G Podcast. You can follow us on Twitter. I'm at ZTGD. Ryan is at Wombat RP. Anthony is a Complacent Robot. Check out Phoenix Down. This week's episode, I recommend you give a listen to. I did. And I listened to these guys talk about a bunch of hidden gems, including my namesake. I heard you guys talk about that. Don't think I didn't.
Hey, well, it's because he brought up that Urban Chaos game.
Yes. I want you to know
and
that
then-
like on an annual basis, Anthony, I go back and play that Genesis game.
You regret it every time?
I do. It's a bad video game, but
It's impressive, though, that it's basically
that it's
running
on the
a standard
Genesis and it's a first-person shooter. Yeah, it's impressive what it was at the time, but I can't not go play that game because literally that was me signing into Yahoo Chat saying, what should my username be? And that was what I thought of. That's how that name came to be. So...
I love the cover art.
Yeah, the cover art's good. It's got a different name in Europe, I think.
Does it really?
I think it does. Like, I think the Europe version of that game has a different title. So. But yeah, go listen to that. The next game, Drew told me, but I forgot it. I think it's Diablo.
It's Diablo, yeah.
Yeah, Diablo 2 will be this week, which that's out on Tuesday, I think. So. But I don't have anything else. Unless you guys have anything else?
Nope.
No?
Unfortunately not.
All right. Well, if that's it, then we'll get out of here. Peace, Bertrand.
Alrighty. And it goes something like this.
Epic fail. Welcome to the N4G podcast. Oh, you can... It's me, Mario. Zero tolerance.
This is going to be a very interesting episode.
Gather time.
Greetings, programs. I got lost trying to find my way to the secret underground N4G Radio lair.
The Wombat.
I always live being angry.
Killer Wolverine. Play games, not consoles. No fanboys allowed.
And then I killed the dragon. 8.0.